What do you think first about Dustin Hoffman's arc as a character?
Like you said, you all discussed it in like a film class. What last year?
Mm-hmm.
I think the character arc as well as the movie should be discussed in storytelling, how to structure a film, the arcs of the characters involved, the surrounding characters. There's little, each surrounding character had a small little arc. Even the agent, he kind of changed his tune. If you go back and watch at first, and I don't want to get into one of my favorite scenes, but one of my favorite scenes, the agent, who's played by Sidney Pollack, I think.
Mm-hmm. Who's also the director.
Also the director as well.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
His as he's not got a lot of screen time, but his character changes in the way he views Dustin Michael Dorsey as Tootsie. So that changed. There's a lot of these little changes within the character arcs. But as far as Michael Dorsey's character, it's one of the best character arcs for a major movie. For this, this would be classified as. I don't know what IMDb has it, but it's got a few romance, it's got a few dramatic elements, but not super heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got some relationship things, and it's a comedy, so it's a meld of multiple genres without being too cliched at all. Is it cliched? Is there any cliched thing in it? Not really. And,
Are you still there?
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, so yeah, every aspect of the movie I wouldn't change that at all, and I think the arc is a great arc for one of the all-time characters.
I agree.
It has to be one of the top 25 characters, wouldn't you think?
He's so good. Both the characters are so good.
We need to do that. The top 20 characters in features since 1980 on. We should do that.
Let's do it.
We should do that.
Yeah, I think so. I think they do a really good job of setting him up early as a struggling actor, as somebody who just kind of just doesn't really care about women. The way that he kind of whips around Terry Garr's character, the way that he acts with all of the women at his birthday party.
Yeah.
I think they do a really good job of setting it up. I jumped on IMDb to see how they characterize it as a comedy, drama, romance.
Okay.
In that order. But it won one Oscar. It was up for multiple Oscars, pretty much every category.
Who won it? Jessica Lange? Was it
Jessica Lange won for Best Supporting Actress. So the one that I said could have been recast is the only one that won.
Was Dustin Hoffman nominated at all?
Yeah, so it was nominated for Best Picture, Best Actor in a Lead Role, Best Actress in a Supporting Role, both her and Terry Garr, which I still thought Terry Garr was better. Best Director, Best Writing, Best Cinematography, Sound, Film Editing, and Music Original Song.
It only won for Best Actress.
Mm-hmm. Now for Golden Globes, it won Best Actor, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Motion Picture, Comedy, or Musical.
Okay.
So it did better in those.
What was it, 82? Is that when this came out?
82.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the middle of the film, when they go to that party and he goes as himself, Dustin Hoffman does, and he goes up to Julie and just kind of flat out. Well, first there's the scene with the director. The director's kind of hitting on some other woman, or there's something going on there. And then he goes up to her.
Walks right up and starts hitting on an actress that's standing right beside Michael Dorsey.
Exactly. And then so Dustin Hoffman then goes out and straight up hands a proposition over to Julie, and Julie throws the drink in his face. What was that scene about? What do you think? It felt a little bit, it was a scene that felt important, but I couldn't figure out why.
Do you think at this point? I know the scene. I'm trying to put into maybe at this point, Michael Dorsey, because he's starting to get acclaim as Dorothy, right?
Mm.
And I mean, he's always complained a little bit to what's Bill Murray's character's name?
Jeff?
Jeff, yeah,
Yeah.
Jeff. So he complains a little bit about some of the I can't believe some of the things women have to go through, but I can't remember some of these conversations come before that scene or not. My thought is, can you know some of the scenes I'm talking about when he's because the party is relatively early on in the second act, isn't it?
It's it's almost right smack dab in the middle
Well,
of the
see,
movie.
that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking after that happens, he has more of a change of heart because he's not changed his ways toward women all that much. He's seeing a little bit more what they're going through, but him as himself, outside of Dorothy, he's still saying these. What's his exact comment to her? Can you remember?
He says something like, I'm just going to cut straight to the point.
About
I
sleeping
want to
with her.
sleep with you.
Yeah,
And then she just, bam.
because see, I don't think up until that point he's learned some of these things about women, but he's not put them into. He's not started using them in his life. He's not started respecting these women. He still has the mindset. He knows he shouldn't. He sees what they go through, but he still kind of discards them. So maybe that throwing the wine in the face is maybe a fresh start. It's opened his eyes because maybe after that is when he starts to realize, listen, I need to be more on, conduct myself better around women, respect them more. They go through a lot. They put up with a lot. Look at what they put up with on set. Because earlier on, he says, you don't know how that director talks to me, talks to
Mm-hmm.
Dorothy. So I don't know. I always kind of got maybe that was what it was, but I don't know.
Now that you're saying that, makes me think maybe it was a test of, is this person worth pursuing? Because she treats her like, she allows this guy to treat her like trash.
The director,
Yeah. So let
played,
me just
played
see.
great by Dabney Coleman. He does a
Dabney
great job.
Coleman. So let me see if that's how she really thinks about herself. So then he goes up to her, just flat out says it. She throws it and the drink in the face, and now he's like, nope, she does respect herself, but for some reason she's just kind of whatever with Dabney Coleman. So maybe she is worth pursuing. Like, this is
Right.
worth pursuing and worth pursuing as myself. And that's where I was like, I don't know. I don't know. But I just thought that's a scene that I can't place it.
Well, see, it's an interesting scene you brought up, and it's interesting that it's almost in exactly midpoint of the movie as well,
Mm-hmm.
because it would be it's, and I think the placement of it was probably done purposely too.
Yeah.
So, or it could be interpreted many different ways. But yeah, I'm glad you pointed that scene out. I hadn't really thought of it, but yeah.
It felt a little bit out of the ordinary.